Breaking overnight, the Texas Senate has passed a controversial GOP redistricting bill that triggered a weeks-long standoff in the House.
Plus, it's going to be a sunny but rather cool weekend ahead of us. All the full forecast coming up.
Plus, from the Coulee to Cottage Grove, what's happening near you this weekend? We've got all the details. Well, hello, good morning, happy Saturday, and thanks for waking up with us. I'm Michelle Renee Quinn.
And I'm Jacob Madison. Today is Saturday, August 23rd. You're watching Weekend Mornings. Although it's August, it's going to feel a little bit more like kind of late September, even kind of feeling a little bit like October at times. It's going to be a fall-like weekend for sure.
And that's because of the wind, right? It's a little breezy here.
Yeah, we had a front move through, and now the winds are going to be coming out of the northwest. Not breezy yet, but it is going to be breezy throughout the weekend. But despite the cooler temperatures, it's going to be very sunny, and you can see it right now. Here's a live view from our Queen Bee Radio Sky Cam in Platteville, showing almost completely clear skies, and that's going to be the case throughout much of the day. Now, temperatures right now, compared to what we normally see during the morning, they actually are a little bit above normal, but because of that northwesterly wind, they're not really going to rise all that much. Now, winds aren't too bad right now, and overall, they're not going to get too windy across the area, but because they're going to be out of the northwest, it will keep those temperatures down. So we're not going to see the temperatures rising all that much from where they are right now, where they're going to remain in the upper 60s to lower 70s. But again, we are going to see plenty of sunshine, and this is going to be the case for you folks in La Crosse as well. Lower 70s for your high temperatures with those sunny skies, and that's going to be really the case for everybody. Those of you up in Eau Claire with a little bit more cloud cover may see highs only in the upper 60s, but this is going to be one of our cooler days going forward, and it's going to be even cooler for tomorrow. So I'll talk more in detail about that coming up a bit later.
All right, thanks, Jacob. We'll check back in shortly. To breaking news overnight, the Texas Republican redistricting bill is headed to Governor Greg Abbott's desk. The Senate approved the measure early this morning, creating 5 new GOP-leaning congressional districts. The Republican-backed proposal cleared the House in an 88-52 party line vote on Wednesday. The mid-decade redistricting effort comes as after President Trump urged Texas lawmakers to secure more Republican seats before the 2026 midterm elections. Democrats plan to challenge the new map in court, arguing it undermines fair representation and dilutes minority voting power. Now you're taking a live look at the White House, where the Trump administration suffered a setback on its immigration crackdown Friday after a federal judge blocked the administration from cutting off federal funding to dozens of sanctuary cities and counties. CBS's Christian Benavides has your latest immigration updates, including what's next for the man who the U.S. government says was deported to El Salvador by mistake. His reunion may be short-lived as the Trump administration is now vowing to deport him to East Africa.
Overnight, Kilmer Abrego Garcia, the man who was mistakenly deported to El Salvador in March, was reunited with his family after being detained for 160 days, including nearly 3 months at one of the most notorious prisons in the world, El Salvador's CCOT prison.
Que todavía falta que se haga justicia.
I'm so grateful for them, and I want them to know that we have made a closer step towards justice, but we still need more justice.
In a video released by an advocacy group and through a translator, Abrego Garcia thanked supporters and those who prayed for him. He was released from criminal custody on pre-trial detention ahead of a federal trial on charges he smuggled immigrants into the U.S., something he denies. But now the Trump administration is vowing to redeport him to the East African country of Uganda, which has agreed to accept some U.S. deportees.
He does still face arrest and deportation by immigration officials. Why? He entered the country illegally back in 2011 and has an active deportation order. And so technically, it is legally permissible for the Trump administration to try to deport him to any other country in the world except El Salvador.
What do we want? Justice for Gil.
Abrego Garcia's case became a flashpoint for the early days of the second Trump administration's deportation efforts. The Salvadoran national was deported to El Salvador despite a court order he should not be sent there due to safety reasons. ICE called his initial removal to El Salvador an administrative error. Christian Benavides, CBS News.
Taking a look at Wall Street now, the markets rebound Friday. The Dow up 846 points, the Nasdaq rises 396 points, and the S&P 500 is up by 97. The Trump administration is demanding states participate in federal immigration efforts or they could lose access to VOCA funds. That's crime victim funds, fines, and penalties from convictions in federal cases, not taxpayer dollars. In western Wisconsin, organizations like New Horizons rely on VOCA funding to pay staff. Groups already saw their VOCA funds slashed in 2024 after a policy change, and at the time, New Horizons had to cut 3.5 staff positions. They say they still receive $91,000 in VOCA funds, and the executive director says that money is essential.
If we lose that $91,000, that's even going to be more devastating. That truly might mean another position that we have to cut.
If conditions around immigration policies are not enforced, that funding could go away completely. Kapoff says if that happens, New Horizons will probably have to serve less clients. Wisconsin joined 19 other states and the District of Columbia in that lawsuit to block the funding conditions. Well, it's back to school time for many students, which can bring mental stress. Psychiatrist and author of the national best-selling book, High Functioning Uses, the acronym READY is used to help parents prepare their kids. R stands for routine, E for expectations, A, attention, D, dialogue, and Y is for you. She also advises parents whose kids are being bullied.
In these cases, you really want to validate what the child is going through. You don't want to say, oh, it's not that bad, or this is typical, because the reality of it is that bullying is way more intense these days.
She says bullying is more intense because it can happen both in person and online. She recommends parents know their school's anti-bullying policy. And UW-Madison is bracing for a busy weekend, welcoming nearly 9,000 students back to the residence halls. Move-in begins tomorrow and runs through Wednesday. Several streets will shift to one-way routes near resident halls beginning at 7 a.m. each day. On the east side of campus, Park Street will be northbound only from University to Langdon, Lake Street northbound only from Dayton to Johnson, and Dayton Street westbound only from Francis to Park. On the west side of campus, Observatory Drive will be westbound only from Charter to Babcock, and Elm Drive north of Observatory will be northbound only. Some parking lots near dorms will also be reserved for unloading zones, and drivers should expect delays. Metro Transit buses will also detour around the congestion. Officials encourage families, students, and visitors to consider biking, busing, or any other alternatives to avoid traffic delays. News 3 now, and SSM Health's Time for Kids digital playbook campaign continues, helping families navigate the ever-changing digital world. With a new school year, kindness is key both in the classroom and online. Our digital device guide reminds parents that what kids post can last forever, including mean-spirited comments or even liking something hurtful as a joke. SSM Health child and adolescent psychiatrist Dr. Ashvin Sood says parents can help by role-playing common online scenarios, setting clear rules that relax over time with trust, monitoring who their kids connect with, limiting screen time, and teaching them to speak up when they see something harmful. He says having consistent, empathetic conversations can guide kids to make thoughtful choices about what they post or engage with online.
I tell parents, think, on a real playground, what would you want your kid to do? Everything that's online is a digital playground. That has to be the frame. But in that digital playground, everyone has access. So no matter what a company says about parental controls, the parent is ultimately the ultimate parental control.
Start the conversation today by downloading our Time for Kids digital agreement. There are 6 sections, and you can have your kids sign the agreement once you've reviewed the importance of each one. You can find the device guide and full breakdown of each topic on our website, channel3000.com, under the Time for Kids section.
And before we head to break, today's morning motivational quote is from Dead Poets Society.
Robin Williams said, "Carpe diem, seize the day, boys, make your lives extraordinary."
You ever see that movie?
I have not seen it.
I saw it back like when I was in school, like they showed it in like English class or something. I don't remember much about it though. I know it's a classic among a lot of people though.
I also remember learning about Carpe Diem in school. It was definitely in our history books, that phrase, Carpe Diem, teaching us to seize the day.
I feel like that quote and the scene where they're all sitting at the desks, probably two of the more memorable things from that movie.
All right. Well, we hope you guys at home take today and seize it. Make your lives extraordinary. You are watching Weekend Mornings. Keep it here.
You're watching Weekend Mornings.
Welcome back. Happening all weekend long is an opportunity to get to know the people in your community. It's the Good Neighbor Festival in Middleton. This is on the grounds of Middleton High School, bringing community together through activities for the whole family and performances that celebrate the culture in our neighborhoods. Grab your family and friends and make plans for the festival that features live music, an arts and craft fair, a 5K run walk, and 2 parades. The fun in the Good Neighbor City ends Sunday. That parade begins at noon, led by the heroes from the Middleton VFW First Responders and the 2025 Parade Marshal. Also this weekend, today only, the 5th annual car show returns to Main Street in Cottage Grove. That's to raise money and awareness for the UW Carbone Cancer Center Pancreatic Cancer Task Force. Take the whole family to the Grass Park to see hundreds of the area's coolest cars and enjoy food and refreshments on site, along with the ice cream trucks. The show is free to enter and all vehicle types are welcome. It runs this morning from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. And some area pools are getting ready to close for the season. Madison's Goodman Pool will close tomorrow. That is dependent on the weather. Pool staff say the earlier closure is due to staffing availability and lifeguards returning to school. In July, the Parks Commission decided that children under 15 needed to be accompanied by an adult. This change followed a start to the season that saw 8 police calls in 2.5 weeks. Officials are refining this rule for the next year. And if you are planning on heading out for your weekend forecast, Jacob is here. He's got everything you need to know. What is that bottom line?
Well, the bottom line is it's not great swimming forecast, but it's pretty good for just about everything else. It's still going to be very comfortable outside, although it will be a little bit more fall-like, especially compared to what we've seen the last couple of weeks, although lately it hasn't been too warm. We also will see some breezy conditions, with conditions also remaining dry. Very little chance of rain all the way through Labor Day. Now, looking at the forecast today, highs in the lower 70s, plenty of sunshine, maybe only upper 60s for areas further north in central Wisconsin. And as we take a look at Sunday, it is going to be even cooler. Still going to see a good amount of sunshine, maybe a little bit more cloud cover, but high temperatures going to struggle to reach 70. And if we do only stay in the upper 60s, it'll be the first time since May. Now, as we take a look at the wind gust forecast, this is going to be a big reason why we'll see these cooler temperatures. Gusts up around 20 to 25 miles per hour throughout the day today, calming down for the overnight hours, but then picking back up for your Sunday. Once again, though, for Sunday, they'll calm down for the overnight hours and pick back up for Monday. Overall, the wind gusts aren't going to be too bad, but it will keep those temperatures down, and you will notice a little bit of wind out there in general. Now, as we take a look at the rainfall forecast today, almost completely clear skies, a little bit more cloud cover in the afternoon and also a little bit more cloud cover in central Wisconsin. But for the most part, it is going to be dry and sunny. For Sunday, a very, very small chance of an isolated shower, but otherwise continuing to see just a few clouds here and there. And we'll continue to see those clear skies for Sunday night and into Monday as well. So overall, very quiet the next couple of days. Again, very fall-like, as I mentioned. And the rain chances are going to remain very low through most of next week as well. We are going to see a slight increase in the rain chances once we get to Wednesday night and Thursday, but still going to be pretty dry. Now, the temperatures are also going to warm up a little bit towards the middle and end of next week and as we get closer to Labor Day, but they're still expected to stay in the 70s, maybe creep close to 80 at times, but for the most part, 70s are in the forecast, and we're going to remain very dry as well. Just a few small chances of rain here and there. But the good news is that because we've seen so much rain the last couple of weeks, at this point in time, we're still not too concerned about drought conditions forming. So definitely we can just enjoy the weather and not have too much worry. Like I mentioned, not great swimming weather this weekend, but I think many people won't complain about those cooler temperatures.
Yeah.
We've had plenty of hot days lately, so the 60s for tomorrow. At least for me, I am going to welcome it entirely.
Upper 60s, lower 70s is it's cool. It's cool with me.
That's perfect for me. Now, obviously, those morning hours definitely could be pretty chilly if you notice the lows were in the 40s potentially, but the afternoon's going to definitely feel very comfortable for anything other than swimming, like I mentioned.
I would definitely say this forecast is weekend morning team approved.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, still ahead on your weekend mornings, how federal funding cuts are affecting Wisconsinites.
Plus, as always, Will Loper has the 3 things you need to watch. Stick with us. We're back in a bit. Well, I mentioned how tomorrow and Monday will be the coldest days we've seen in months. And here's a look at the coldest days since June 1st for reference. Now, this is just for Madison, and these are obviously just the high temperatures. But the coldest day was July 17th, where the high was just 71 degrees. A few other days in the middle to lower 70s. A lot of them, though, at the beginning of June. Now, again, for reference, take a look at the highs for tomorrow and Monday. We may only be in the upper 60s, and that may continue for Tuesday. Now, we are going to warm up a little bit for the middle and end of next week, but notice the average high is 79. The average high will drop a little bit, but these high temperatures, if these are what end up being the highs for the day, they will be below normal. And although we may not see the 60s, we're still expecting near to slightly below average temperatures even through Labor Day and beyond. There's not really a big sign of a big warm up in the near future, so these upper 60s to 70s may be the norm for a bit. Now, we're bound to get back into the 80s, maybe even 90s at some point. Might see the 90s completely gone, but we're almost certainly going to get back to the 80s at some point in September, but at least not for the near future. Expect more 70s as we head towards Labor Day.
Yeah, it's going to be a chillier Labor Day than in years past. How about that?
Yeah, 2 years ago on Labor Day, I'm pretty sure it hit 90s pretty much every day that weekend. So definitely not going to see that this year.
That would have been a lake day for
Right.
sure. Well, thank you, Jacob. We'll check back in again shortly. There's clearly no shortage of films and shows streaming. Our Will Loper shares a few of the best in this week's 3 Things to Watch.
Eeny, meeny. You were the best behind the wheel. Unfortunately, I'm not smart enough to get away from John. He owes me $3 million.
Get behind the wheel in Eeny Meeny, newly streaming on Hulu.
But there's a casino job in just a few days. You're a getaway driver. All you gotta do is get in the car and get away.
Samara Weaving stars as a former getaway driver pulled into one more job to save her ex-boyfriend.
I regret every second I walked back into your life.
I've changed a lot since I last saw you. I don't want to be a joke anymore. I want to be a real hero.
Discover another dimension in Peacemaker Season 2, newly streaming on HBO Max.
Whoa.
What is it?
They have a dimensional portal, and it leads to a parallel world.
What?
It's not that big a deal.
John Cena returns as the superhero trying to shed the past of his toxic persona.
No matter how green the grass is over there, you belong here with us.
If it ever comes down to a choice, you'll make the right one.
And stream a new thriller series with Hostage, newly streaming on Netflix.
Nothing will distract me.
Prime Minister, your husband has been abducted.
Secrets come to light when a British Prime Minister's husband is kidnapped during a summit with the President of France.
Every instinct is telling me to give them what they want.
Those are the 3 things you need to watch, and this is Will Loper for Weekend Mornings.
Every single one of those is on my watch list.
I feel like there's so many movies that get released specifically for streaming services, and we never hear of a lot of them. But
right, because they're not the big blockbuster in the theaters. Right, yeah.
Those looked very interesting, especially that last one.
Oh yeah, Hostage. Yes, I love a good thriller.
It's a series, right? That's what I heard.
It did look like a series, and yeah, it's giving Criminal Minds, and I'm a fan, so.
I feel like series, you're able to get more time to develop things, and plus, I feel like everyone our age loves to binge.
Yes, and then we start and we stop, you know? Like, we're not going to sit down for 3 hours and watch a movie. We're going to sit down for 45 minutes, and then we're going to go do a load of laundry or whatever.
Or we're going to sit down, or maybe not sit down the whole time, but like just watch 6 hours straight of TV while we're doing stuff around the house.
Or that.
Oh, come on, you've never done that before?
I don't have 6 hours. I got to produce this show.
When you're doing on your day off, when you have, chores to do around the house, you just put it on the background.
I was here yesterday on my day off.
Oh.
Anyways, before we head to break, here's a look at last night's winning numbers.
Don't go anywhere. We've still got a half hour of news left.
Next, we're running through top headlines, so stick with us. You're watching Weekend Mornings. Right now, new reports of measles in Wisconsin, the total number of cases in the state.
And it's going to be a very fall-like weekend for us here in Wisconsin. I'll have the full forecast coming up.
Well, hello and good morning. Happy Saturday. Thanks for waking up with us. I'm your Weekend Morning anchor, Michelle Renee Quinn.
And I'm meteorologist Jacob Montesano. You're watching Weekend Mornings on Saturday, August 23rd. As we said earlier, although it's still August, it's going to feel a little bit more like September to October range this weekend. Not like full-blown fall weather, but these will certainly be some cooler temperatures this weekend.
Light sweater weather.
Yes, especially in those morning hours, it will be chilly. Afternoons should be very comfortable. Plus, we're going to see plenty of sunshine like we're seeing right now. Here's a live view from Platteville showing almost completely clear skies. You can see a few clouds here and there, but for the most part, this is going to be the forecast for today. Plenty of sunshine. Now, temperatures are going to be on the cooler side, as we mentioned, although right now they're actually a little bit warmer compared to what we normally see during the morning, but they're not really going to rise all that much. So we're in the middle to upper 60s right now. The winds are going to be out of the northwest, a little bit breezy, still not too breezy right now, but the winds are going to pick up and kind of prevent temperatures from rising much further. So throughout the day, we're going to have the sunny skies, but we're only going to have high temperatures in the lower 70s. Again, northwesterly winds, sustained winds around 10 to 15 miles per hour. Gusts will be up around 20 to 25 miles per hour. So the winds aren't going to be too bad, definitely noticeable. And again, they are going to keep those temperatures down. And this is going to be a very similar forecast to you folks in La Crosse. Now, looking across the area as a whole, it will be cooler the further north you're located, especially considering central Wisconsin will see a little bit more cloud cover. So highs may only be in the 60s. But in general, a lot of 70s across the area. It actually will be warmer further east, which is, kind of opposite of what we normally see in the summer. Cooler further west as those winds will be a bit gustier. But in general, a pretty good day by the afternoon, but it's going to be even cooler for Sunday. I'll talk more about that coming up a bit later.
All right, thanks, Jacob. We'll check back in shortly. Now to our top stories. There are 5 new cases of measles in Wisconsin. This bringing the total cases in the state to 14, all of them coming from Oconto County. Our Tanisha Shaw has more on what you need to know.
The Wisconsin Department of Health Services is speaking out after confirming multiple measles cases in the state Friday.
These cases are being identified as we continue to see cases of measles across the United States, with cases being reported in 42 states so far this year.
These cases are announced just weeks after the DHS confirmed the first measles cases in Wisconsin this year, all of them happening in Oconto County.
We were able to tie them back to the original 9 cases.
Measles is highly contagious. Health officials urge everyone to make sure that they know their vaccine status.
If someone is in an indoor space with measles and leaves, the virus remains suspended in the air for up to 2 hours, and someone who is not protected, if they come in during that time period, can contract measles.
Whether they decide to get updated vaccinations or not, most people born before 1957 are already immune to measles.
It's important to note that this is a very small slice, and for many people, particularly those who are born in or before 1957, are already considered immune. If you have at least 1 dose of a measles-containing vaccine outside that time period, you're considered up to date.
Measles symptoms are similar to a common cold.
It can be a runny nose, cough, red watery eyes. They may have a fever, and then the rash will probably come out a couple days later.
If you think you have symptoms, please reach out to your doctor before visiting their office. This is to stay safe and to reduce the spread of measles. Reporting in studio, Tanisha Shaw, News 3 Now.
Tanisha, thank you. DHS also reported possible measles exposure in Beloit and Roberts. The Portage Police Department is responding to allegations that one of its officers abused his 6-month-old son. Cameron Coronado is charged with child abuse and disorderly conduct with a domestic abuse modifier. The department's police chief says as soon as he learned about the allegations, he took action.
Under my direction, an outside agency was contacted to handle the investigation. I then contacted the business agent from the police union to advise them also of this incident. The officer was immediately placed on administrative leave.
Online records also show Coronado posted bail and is no longer in the Sauk County Jail. His preliminary hearing is set for September 3rd. If you or someone you know is experiencing domestic abuse, there are resources available. You can call the Domestic Abuse Intervention Services 24/7 helpline. If you're not comfortable calling, text them at the number on the bottom of your screen. In more local news, a new candidate has entered the race for governor. Ryan Sternad is a beer vendor at American Family Field. He has also been politically active in unions. He sat down with us on this week's For the Record to talk about his run for office.
I will say that I focus on the working in the middle class, and my background goes back to Milwaukee, with me being a long-time in-seat alcohol vendor at American Family Field where the Brewers play. I've been involved heavily with the union there.
The only other major Democratic candidate in the race right now is Wisconsin's Lieutenant Governor Sarah Rodriguez. Now to the coulee, where a train car caught fire. This happened yesterday evening in the village of DeSoto. Multiple fire crews responded to the incident. They were able to safely put the fire out.
The train conductor happened to look in his rear mirror and noticed smoke some ways up the river and managed to get it stopped in a very good place.
There were no injuries at the scene. Officials cannot currently confirm what the content in the train car was, but they do know it was not hazardous. Nationally, the Justice Department released transcripts of an interview with Jeffrey Epstein's convicted accomplice, Maxwell. In newly released audio and transcripts, Maxwell discussed her interactions with President Trump. The Justice Department also shared the first batch of files related to the Epstein case with members of the House Oversight Committee after a subpoena. President Trump says he supports the Justice Department releasing the files. Wall Street soared this morning following a speech from Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell, where he signaled a rate cut. Friday's closing numbers are on your screen now. Powell, whose term as chair expires next May, has faced intense pressure from President Trump to lower interest rates. Time now, 8:35. Still ahead, we've got everything you need to know when it comes to high school football. That's what's next in your weekend morning sports.
And I'll continue having more of your fall-like forecasts. This is Weekend Mornings. Keep it here. Well, as we take a look at the forecast going forward, it's going to be very quiet. Temperatures will be a little bit below normal, especially for early next week. Only a few small chances of rain with some warmer temperatures for the middle and end of next week. But even the warmest of air that will come in next week, we're only going to talk about temperatures pretty close to average rather than above it. So near to below average temperatures for the foreseeable future with mostly dry conditions. This is expected to continue through at least Labor Day, but there really is no sign beyond Labor Day that this is going to change. So for the most part, I mean, it's going to be the forecast you're seeing right there is going to be the norm, at least for now. Again, we'll obviously continue updating the forecast, but it doesn't look like there's any big warm up or any big rainfall in the near future, just very consistent temperatures. And because we've seen a lot of rainfall lately, not too concerned about drought conditions forming, at least not yet.
Well, you know what? Those low-ish temperatures for this time kind of sound like football temperatures, don't you think?
Oh, absolutely. Tomorrow is going to be, prime football weather. Unfortunately, we are 1 week away from game starting. But this weekend would be perfect. Next weekend looks pretty good, though.
All right. Thanks, Jacob. And it is football time. We are throwing it right to Andrew in sports.
Welcome into week one of the final drive. I'm Andrew Banstra, fired up to be on the ride with you through another high school football season. We start with our game of the night, a tilt between Lodi and Monroe. A pair of 7-win playoff teams last season. The Blue Devils brought home the state title 2 years back, looking to get back to that level. While the Cheesemakers were an early playoff exit last year, all the makings of a wonderful week one matchup. First quarter, Monroe on the move. Noah Spots nearly into the end zone, but not so fast. Correll Branch pokes it free. Number 2 was making plays all over the field tonight. None bigger than that. Lodi comes away with it. Talk about a momentum changer. And later, the Blue Devils throw another punch, this time a haymaker. Alex Brunig says bombs away. A 60-yard heave finds the hands of Bennett Nyquist, who's not going to be caught. Lodi locks up the week one win, 21-14. Elsewhere in our area, Janesville Craig took care of business against Sun Prairie West, winning 22-16, while the Golden Beavers of Beaver Dam found success against Fort Atkinson big time. 48-0 the score. Sticking around for more, the result of the I-138 rivalry flipped for the 5th year in a row. Oregon stifling Stoughton 35-18, and Reedsburg, another Beaver in our area, with another big win. 42-0 the score there. Lately, New Glarus High has shown us that they should be known for more than Spotted Cow, but for football, too. The Knights had their first winning season since 2017 last year, facing Pecatonica Argyle, looking for their first winning season since 2018. But New Glarus, they've got some guys, starting with that quarterback, Quinn Marty, who is more than just an arm. Look at those wheels on the quarterback. He slips away for the first down and gives way to his backfield mate, Milo Johnson, who just jogs down the sideline for another Knight score. What a night it was for New Glarus, who run it up on Peck Argyle, 49-0 the score. Headed to Lake Mills for a classic crosstown matchup, the Slider Bowl, where the L-Cats of Lake Mills made it 2 in a row over Lakeside Lutheran. Meanwhile, Lancaster rang the bell, a 28-16 win over Belleville. If the Chieftains have their way in 2025, it will be a year of redemption. Last season, Potosi-Cassville got all the way to the state title game and lost. The only problem is Cuba City, they want some redemption too. The Cubans only in the regular season last year lost to the Chieftains. That was in week one, and we run it back in 2025. Courtesy of our friends at Queen Bee Radio. And PC, they made the title game because they have a need for speed. They hunt for every chance to hit the gas. And on the opening kickoff, Hunter White wasting no time, going for it all. He could go all the way. Are you kidding me? The first play of the season, a 93-yard house call. The Chieftains take an early lead. They never give up. Check this out later in the game with one of the better snags you're going to see all season long, courtesy of the man himself, the wide receiver, Frederick, who fetches it over the defender, and Potosi-Cassville wins big, 27-6, the final score.
We are less than a week away from the Badgers kicking off their 2025 season, and our Eric Franke and sports director Andrew Banstra will get you ready for it. They're hosting Wisconsin Game Day live from the UW Fieldhouse at 6:30 next Thursday, getting you ready for game day and, of course, breaking down the X's and O's. The Packers' preseason finale is today against the Seahawks at Lambeau Field, and the Green and Gold's head coach says to expect some starters to play. Our senior Packers writer Jason Wilde has more.
39. That's how many Green Bay Packers players were inactive for last year's preseason finale at Lambeau Field against the Baltimore Ravens. Now, the Baltimore Ravens also didn't play Lamar Jackson and all of their best players either. The thought process being no reason to risk your best players in the final game of the preseason with the start of the regular season 2 weeks away. But this time around, Matt LaFleur is doing things differently, and he is playing his starters at least a little bit. Now, it won't be Jordan Love. It won't be some of the other players that are dealing with injuries. But Matt LaFleur, very clear this week, he's playing his starters, at least for a little while, on Saturday against the Seattle Seahawks.
I think with the fact that you have 2 weeks prior to your first game, you only have, I mean, we didn't play them last week, so they should expect to play a little bit.
Now, again, it'll be Malik Willis, the Packers' backup quarterback, starting in Jordan Love's place. There will be a lot of reserve wide receivers getting a lot of work, and there will be other starters, including Xavier McKinney, the star safety on defense, who won't be playing. But you are going to see a lot of familiar names in this game, and then all the guys that are fighting to keep the NFL dream alive, my favorite part of the preseason. We will cover every inch of Packers Seahawks and get you ready for the start of the regular season with all of our coverage on channel3000.com for free. And make sure while you're there, you sign up for our newsletter so you get your Packers coverage delivered directly to your inbox every single day. In Green Bay, Jason Wilde, channel3000.com.
Jason, thank you. Again, the Packers take on the Seahawks this afternoon at Lambeau. Kickoff is set for 3 p.m. Coming up, I sit down with a member of Pomona Madison, and we'll tell you how one group is sharing their culture with the greater Madison area.
And we'll have a final look at your full forecast coming up.
But before we head to break, we've got a birthday to celebrate. Yesterday, Amora turned 3. Happy belated birthday, Amora. You're watching Weekend Mornings. Keep it here. Welcome back. Joining me now is one of the board members of Pomona, and they have an event that's happening today. What can you tell us about your group?
Pomona is a Filipino-American organization here in Madison. We actually host a lot of events so that everyone could have a time together to celebrate our culture, share it with other people, and collaborate with other Asian communities.
So can you tell me a little bit about the event that's happening today?
It's going to be the Summer Picnic 2025. We do that every year, and this is just going to be special this year because we have a lot of participants, and we're actually doing a lot of games, which will actually introduce a lot of Filipino culture. We are going to be having some performances. They are going to be dancing like cultural dances, and this will just give everyone time to just know more about the culture, especially the young people, to just know more about their culture and basically pass it on to the next generation.
Absolutely. And can you tell us more why having events like this and learning about these cultures that are within our greater Madison area, can you tell us why this is so important to have events like this and to show the diversity that we have here?
I think at the heart of it, we just want everyone to feel like they have a home, that they have a community to rely on, and that they are not alone. Being here is actually, Pomona, being here actually gives me so much happiness that I am with people that I know that shares the same culture as I do. And this is important because everyone longs for belongingness, and that's just really important. We are actually working on collaborating with other Asian communities. We are not going to be saying the names, but we are trying to work on that so that we are introducing diversity among Filipino participants.
Absolutely. And now, where can people go if they're looking for more information on your organization? They're looking to get involved at all? Where can they go?
We have the website. It's called pomona-madison.org. If you go there, events are going to be lined up in there. There's going to be like contact information, so they could just hit it up and send us a message.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Up next, Jacob has your 3 things to know.
Thanks, Michelle Renee. We're going to see fall-like temperatures this weekend with some breezy conditions as well. We also will remain mostly dry, potentially mostly dry through Labor Day and beyond. So today, plenty of sunshine, some cooler temperatures, but very comfortable for the afternoon hours. A little bit more cloud cover further north as highs will only be in the 60s. Then we'll see clear skies overnight with lows dropping into the middle 50s. So it will be a cooler start to Sunday than it is right now. And then for the afternoon Sunday, it also will be cooler. Highs only in the upper 60s. Could be our first high in the 60s since May. So noticeably cooler compared to where we have been lately. And the big reason for this is going to be some northwesterly winds that will be gusting up around 20 to 25 miles per hour. So overall, not too windy of conditions, but you will notice it a little bit out there. And as I mentioned, it will be keeping those temperatures down. The winds will calm down overnight and then pick back up for Sunday afternoon, and similar to today, they'll calm down for Sunday night and pick back up for Monday. Now, during all this, we're still going to see very little to maybe no rain at all. small chance of an isolated shower tomorrow, another chance of rain Wednesday night into Thursday. But again, we are still going to be very, very dry with temperatures warming up a little bit for the middle and end of next week. But even at the warmest, they are going to be just at near average. So for the most part, we're talking about near to below normal temperatures. But again, we're going to remain dry and sunny, so the forecast overall is looking very, very good. This is going to continue through Labor Day, may even continue beyond Labor Day, as there's no signs suggesting that we are going to see any warm up or any big rain in the future. So enjoy this dry period. And because of the rainfall we have seen lately, again, we're not too concerned about drought conditions forming.
Jacob, thank you. Your playlist pick is still ahead on weekend mornings, so send me a song with the subject playlist pick to Mr. Quinn at WISC-TV.com and tune in on weekend mornings to hear it. We'll be right back.
Weekend mornings.
Welcome back. Ross sent this song in. He says, the sun is shining, the grill is going, and the vibes are just right.
When it comes to summertime soul, there's no sound that brings people together like this one.
Take a listen. You're listening to We Are One by Frankie, Beverly, and Maze, the soundtrack to family cookouts, block parties, and backyard love. Thanks for watching Weekend Mornings. Coming up next is CBS Mission Unstoppable. Our next newscast is coming up at 6 p.m. You can always find us streaming 24/7 on Channel 3000+.